we looked at leg locks this month. We started looking with our single leg X, so we're going to look at that first. So single leg X position is basically the Ashi Garami, a ribbing Ashi Garami, which is your entry into leg entanglements. So why is this an important position? Because of this. Chase stands up. Once I get into the position, I get to control both of my legs on one of his legs, but the beauty of this position is that I get to control both his hips. So my leg on the outside comes on the top of his hip here, my other foot comes on the opposite hip on the other side. That's why we get such a great control here. I make a V with my feet. I make a V with my feet so that I control both hips. I lift my hips up so I put weight on him, and I scissor my legs. So from doing that, that enables me to get a good pinch on this leg and enables me to be able to move him around and control him. Okay, if I want to increase the level of control here, I can use my hands as well. So I can come on top and pull down and help reinforce that. Okay, the other thing I can do is I can get this hand and push up and reinforce it. Both of these are very good ways of making this an even stronger position. Once we have this position, my goals are going to be the same as always. We're going to try and off balance him so I can move to a better position. Okay, so from here, when I try to off balance, I can push, I can pull him towards me with the foot that's behind his hip. I can tilt one way and I can tilt the other. And anytime I get him, when he's in a position where his foot's within reach, if I bring him and I can actually catch his foot, I can knock him down just like I do with a back sweep or a front sweep. So if I grab his foot here, I can put my foot to the ground and knock his hands to the ground. We can look at that in a second in terms of how we're going to upgrade from there. He comes back up. If I get this position and I grab him here, I can knock him back in the other direction. Okay, so I've got great options to be able to knock over and sweep, and then also take that and progress to leg locks, which we'll look at in a moment. Okay, that's good. He comes back up. How do we get into this position? Well, we've got lots of good ways of doing it. Our main ways of entering in though are going to be a shin to shin guard. So anytime someone's approaching us in a position, I get a shin to shin guard. My shin goes in front, my arm goes behind. I'm going to drop my body down and underneath so I can lift his leg up and come through and attach from here. Okay, another good option is going to be a butterfly guard. So if he's in here, I've got both feet on the inside. I get my hands underneath, come and lift him up, and shoot my leg through. Finish your game straight away in that position. If he's down on one knee, anytime someone's on one knee in front of you, I can use this position to be able to catch, control his legs, slide my leg through, and pop up into this position as well. And the other classic way we get it is from our escapes. Okay, so if I'm in a mount position, underneath the mount, got a bunch of different ways to escape. Get his hands to the ground, circle around, work my body out, and escape. Again, I get into this position. All right, so that's our Ashi Garami single leg X. So from there, what do we do in terms of leg locks? Come back again. So once we're in our position and we knock him down, first option's always going to be a straight ankle lock. So if I can knock him down, sorry, come back. Just one thing with that Kazushi as well. If he's in a position that his head's down this way, it's going to be hard to knock him back. So I'm always going to try and make him go in that direction. If he come back again, if his head is up high, it's going to be easier to take him back over here. So if I'm here, I can tip, knock him over, get into a hip. Once he's on a hip, now I can look to attack a classic straight ankle lock. When I get the straight ankle lock, arm goes in, I make sure my elbow comes back as close to his heel as possible. I'll make sure my lat muscle comes all the way back to the top of his toes, okay, to make it as tight as possible. From here, you can join your hands. I can move up high with my hands. I can reinforce the fist. Got a bunch of different options, whatever you like best. But from here, I want to try and bring my elbow back and behind to create the most distance. And I look behind, lift and drive, and I can get a good finish. Okay, we also look from this position. Once I'm here, if I do get here and he starts an escape sequence, if he pops over the top of my foot, I can now use my shallow X hook. Okay, so the foot he hopped over, I pop it inside, I get a shallow X hook on his leg, and now again the other foot comes over, reinforces on top. So now I can push away and create more distance to get a strong finish. You can also go belly down. We didn't look at that this time through. One other great option for a straight ankle lock as well is the Kaotera lock, which you do from a Del Hiva, or we can do it from Emu guard. So again, if Chase is here, it pops the other way. So if I manage to get him in this position and I knock him to the ground. If I take him to the ground, I can elevate and bring my hand through in front. Okay, my hand comes in front of the hip. This is pretty much the strongest of all the straight ankle locks. And now I can really put good pressure on the finishing from here. Okay, so that's looking at how we can use the Ashi Garami to get people off balance, to knock them down, and then also how we can use it to finish our straight ankle locks. But the other real benefit of the single leg X is going to be the ability to reap. Okay, so I can reap and then I can start attacking outside heel hooks. So he stands again. I get the Ashi Garami, I'm locked in position. So now we're going to use this to tilt and turn to bring my foot, actually spin around this way. I use the position to move, putting pressure, always making his knee turn in and out and extending with my bottom leg here. If I can do this and bring my foot across to his far hip and then bring it underneath, now I can lock a reap across his leg here. So from this position, again, depending on what he does for his reaction, am I going to take him to the ground, take his knee to the ground, or take him backwards? If I get here and I can turn his knee to the ground, I trap him in a position where I can immediately attack his heel. So from here, I can come through, get over his heel, join our hands. If he doesn't move and he doesn't strip the grip of my bottom leg here on his leg, then I can finish him here. To finish him more effectively, I get a reverse grip. So I get a reverse figure 4 grip, where from this position, my arm comes through, wraps underneath, get the control, and again, my upper body finishes here. My legs are locked. I'm putting pressure on his knee to hold him in place, but now my body turns away, and that's what's going to allow us to go and put pressure on to get braking pressure there. Realistically, that's not going to happen. No one's going to stay here. He's going to have enough ability. Hopefully, he's quick enough to be able to get rid of that foot and start the back step. So if I keep a false reap or I get a palm to palm, wrist to wrist grip as he turns, I turn through. And as we do, I switch my foot position. So now I have, now I finished in the outside Ashi. Okay, so my feet are locked on the outside of his leg. I've still got my hand position with his heel on top of the wristwatch here, his toes in my bicep. And now from here I can join my hands with a palm to palm, grab my wrist and turn up to get a wrist to wrist, pinch back with my feet. So I back heel, flare my legs, and now from here I'm going to stay on my elbow. I can lift my hips, so I'm on my elbow on my knee. My elbow comes back towards my hip. I look away, and then I can lift and bridge in to get a strong finish. Okay? If we get in the position again, then as we roll through from the start, if I get here and I start to get to here and knock him down, as I go and turn him through, if he continues to roll through from this position, I need to switch my position here. So come back, we'll do that again. Here. So again, if we're here and I move, get to the position, put the pressure on for him to start to turn, he spins through, he continues to roll through. As he rolls through, I switch my legs and triangle in the opposite direction here. Now with my knee on the ground, that creates a frame that's going to stop him from rolling through anymore. Again, I can finish here with my wrist to wrist. I can upgrade again to my reverse, but either way we can finish that position from there. Good. So that's our outside heel hook. And then from that reaping position, sorry mate, stay up. The other option, if I can knock him back rather than take him to his knee, is we're going to start to look at our Z-lock variations. So again, from here, I get that same movement, I put pressure, stretch him out, take my leg across, catch him here. So once I've pulled my foot under here, if he's resisting me taking him this way, I'm going to knock him back onto his hip this way. Okay, and so from this position, now we're going to look at setting up the Z-lock. Okay, so once we're here, what we want to try and do, we want to try and make sure we get his knees inside my knees. So from here, I'm going to come and collect his leg, I stretch my leg out, bring it back, and now I have control of both of his knees inside my knees. Okay, so this is very similar to the double trouble that we're going to look at in a little bit as well for the saddle position. But again, here I've got both his knees inside my knees, I've got both his feet outside my body. Okay, so that's the difference here. So to finish this position off, what we're going to do is we're going to move, get to our side, go foot to foot, climb up a little bit further so our hips are nice and close. We collect our own shin, so our elbow goes inside our knee here. And now from this position, I'm going to squeeze in with my knees. So I keep a nice strong pinch. I come underneath, get underneath here, and now I can lift up and put a lot of braking pressure on the inside of his knee here. So that's the Z-lock which we looked at. And one other method of getting that, we got it there just from the reap. Another way we can do it is just from the original single leg sweep. So just one more time looking at that. So again, if he is here, and if I manage to knock him over straight away from the single X, if I can catch his leg from this position and control it so he can't roll out, I can now kick this leg, stretch him out, and then come across to end up in the same position. And from here we can go back just like I did a second ago. We can go and finish off a single.